This is one of those episodes of ReZero where it feels like Tape-sensei is like, hey, you thought you knew where things were going. Turns out you didn't know anything. Anyway, with that said, hello everybody. Welcome back to our weekly ReZero Season 2 discussion video. Today we're here to talk all about Episode 11, The Taste of Death. But before we get into it, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. If you're enjoying these videos, come on man, hit that sub button, helps me out a bunch. And if you want to go above and beyond, consider hitting that join button. That'd be super appreciated. But without further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, so this episode is, as usual, very character driven with ReZero, right? And that's why I like this show. With me, it's normally characters, like I prefer characters driving the story than story pushing the characters along. And even though this show does have like a heavy, like, sort of theme of like fate, you know, like fate pushing characters into doing specific things, you do have characters like Subaru who outright defy that by like pointing out like that's not what it says in your book, does it? Right? Like stuff like that, like just like having the characters at least feel as though they're driving the story, and that's what I'm here for. That said, we're going to be talking about a few characters in particular, 4 main ones. We're going to be talking specifically about Beatrice. We're going to be talking about Roswaal, who I probably made the thumbnail, my evil-ass husbando. He's in top form this week. We got to talk a little bit about Amelia, and we got to talk about Subaru. I'm going to start, though, with Biko. Got to start with Beatrice. She opens the episode. She's generally, like, the thing that I think got me the most emotional this week. And it was just seeing how this little conversation between the two of them starts with their usual banter. You can see both of them like try, but given the state of what they're about to discuss, like obviously that doesn't last very long. And it gets real sad real fast, like really fast. And I didn't realize how much I really cared about Beatrice. Like I've always known that I liked Biko, but I wasn't aware just how much I've grown, like, attached to Biko. Like, by this point in the story, when she has her whole, like, put me first, I'm like, this is, like, a better version of that, like, that one scene from Grey's Anatomy, which I haven't seen Grey's Anatomy, but I have seen the friggin' clip, because it gets used everywhere, of, like, pick me, choose me, you know, like, that stupid thing. It's, like, a better version of that, where Biko's like, put me first. Like, if you really want to keep me around, put me first. Think of me first. Put me above everything. But I know you're not going to do that. And it's like, god damn. Like, Beatrice, like, just breaks your heart this week. It is pretty much confirmed right off the top that she is indeed contracted. She's a spirit contracted to Donna, which does make a hell of a lot of sense when you think about it. Now, what do we know about Donna? She's like obsessed with knowledge, right? She's the witch of greed, so she's been like very greedy about knowledge. She wants to know everything. So Beatrice living in a huge ass library makes a lot of sense. I mean, like, it was always like a fun character quirk, but now it makes total sense, and it actually like fits perfectly within the show's overall world and matches Donna quite well. And it's just Tape-sensei being like Tape-sensei, just really well done. And it's just a whole cavalcade of like sadness. It's just sad watching her basically beg Subaru to either put her first and like break her from the contract. That's all she wants, right? Is end this contract. I waited 400 years and it took you 400 years to get here. Like, why didn't you come sooner? Do you have any idea? Like she even says, like, do you have any idea what it's like to be trapped in darkness so deep you can't even see your hand outstretched in front of you? Like, that's how miserable she's been. It's been 400 years of being trapped in this contract, and all she wants is for it to break. That's her deepest wish. Her deepest wish. Her dearest wish, as Roswaal will later call it. And Biko calls it as well. But it's worth noting, like, she's so desperate to break this contract, she either wants Subaru to, like, put her first, put her above everything, or just to outright kill her. And that broke me when she says that, and Subaru's like, why's it gotta be me? I was like, yeah man, why does it gotta be you? My boy, you've been through so much, and Biko, like it don't gotta end this way, Biko. Like, it's a really emotional scene. I'm not doing it justice, but just know, like, I was a bit misty-eyed. And again, I really didn't know how much I truly cared about Biko. Like, I really, really care about this character. So seeing her put in this position, it was just a huge, huge bummer to open the episode with. In fairness, she does attempt to fight, right? Like, when Elsa kicks the door in, because of course she does, like, I out loud went, no, screw off. Like, as soon as Elsa showed up, I'm like, no, screw off, no, go away. Like, I normally like seeing Elsa, because when Elsa's on screen, you know what's about to go down. But here I was like, no, go away. Not because I was necessarily, like, concerned about their safety. Although at this point in time, I was still thinking that this was the new route, right? That this was the route, this was, like, the end game route. This is the way Subaru gets out, so I'm thinking, like, they'll be fine. But it wasn't that I was concerned about their safety, it was that I was, like, literally like, no, Elsa, go away. This talk is too good. Like, this conversation is too good, and you're ruining it. But Subaru's like, all right. So he, like, jumps in front. She's like, oh, are you gonna protect your little friend? That's cute. Right? Of course, Subaru's about to do, like, the whole shamok thing. But Beatrice beats him to it. Beatrice actually shouts shamok first, although she doesn't shout it. She kind of says it under her breath because she's a badass. And Subaru picks her up and just, they start heading for the village, right? Like, and Biko even says, like, why are you heading for the village? And he's like, we gotta protect everybody. So they gotta go protect Freddy and Petra and Patty. But when they get there, they see that kid. And I was like, oh, it's that kid from the village. I actually totally forgot who she was. I was like, oh yeah, you exist. And it's like, actually, I'm Meili. And I was like, wait, what? I thought Meili was the Mob Beast. So, yeah, no, Meili is one of the kids from the village, and she says that she killed Petra. Oh, shit. So, of course, Subaru's distraught, and I'm distraught, because I'm like, okay, one of two things is about to happen. Either this is still the main route, and we just lost Freddy, Patty, and Petra, or this isn't the main route. And, yeah, no, it's not. And B does attempt to fight back. Like, Beatrice, like, attempts to fight back against the kid, and again against Meili, and then Elsa, once Elsa shows back up. And it looks like B kills Elsa, which honestly I was like, cool. Like, Elsa's been shown to be, like, unstoppable, so Biko destroying Elsa was like, cool. Like, that's how you properly job somebody out without making the other character look weak, right? As I was like, damn, they got Elsa. But no, Elsa did not get got. Elsa somehow, like, I guess, like, made a copy of herself and showed up behind Biko and stabs Biko in the back. And I'm like, oh man, this really isn't the main route. Because once Biko died, I'm like, there's no way this is the main route. Because, like, you can feasibly kill Freddy, Patty, and Petra and get away with it. Not Biko. Like, I was like, okay, this isn't it. Like, as soon as they killed a bigger player, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this isn't it. And it super isn't it by the time we see what happens later. But yeah, Biko goes out, and she even says, like, my dearest wish. And I'm like, this is not how you should have wanted things to go down. And Subaru gets all screwed up. We'll talk about Subaru a little bit later in the video. But yeah, Subaru gets all screwed up and Biko just sends him away. Sends him back to Sanctuary. And this is where we get to the Roswaal of it all. And I probably made him the thumbnail because this was a lot. This was a lot. Now, you guys know I've had a special place in my heart for Roswaal, right? Of all the husbandos that could be relatively clown-themed, because I saw some people be like, Roswaal isn't a clown. He dresses his face up like a clown. He's a clown. But... And I don't mean that as in, like, he's a clown is in a bad way. I mean, like, he has clown makeup. He's a clown. He's a clown husbando. And of the clown husbandos, because for some reason there are a few, he's the best. I love Roswaal. He's absolutely fantastic. I love him to pieces. The reason why I like him is the reason why I like characters like Cell or possibly Donna. We still don't really know what's up with Donna. But, like, you know, like Dio, stuff like that. Like, these characters who are bad guys. Well, maybe not bad. Like, well, Cell and Dio are bad. But, like, my favorite types of characters are the ones who are, like, nefarious. They're good. They're on the side of the angels, but they'll do bad shit to get to certain end goals, you know? Like, and that is very much Roswaal. That is Roswaal to a T. When Subaru arrives at Sanctuary and bumps into Garf and one of the Ryuzu clones, they all go to see Roswaal because Subaru says, I'm pretty sure Roswaal is the reason why there's snow everywhere. And, yeah, this gets nefarious quick because Roswaal doesn't deny this. He's like, oh, so you must have heard that from me in a past life, huh? Or you must have heard that from me, huh? He said he doesn't necessarily give it away just yet. But yeah, like I said, he does let a lot slip. Like, he lets it slip here, like, yeah, I'm the reason why the snow's here. Also, I know about you. Because, like, Subaru's, like, Subaru says, like, I've asked you over and over. And he's like, yes, that's right, Natsuki Subaru. Over and over and over again. And he says it like that, and Subaru's like, oh my god. Like, he knows, and we know that he knew. Like, we already know that he definitely knew. We found that out last week or the week prior, I don't remember. Honestly, all of ReZero has been a bit of a blur. But yeah, we know that Roswaal knew. So now Subaru knows that he knows. And you would think that since Ram and Garf were there, they would know. They don't get the chance to know. Because when Garf gets mad and tries to beat up Roswaal, Ram jumps in front, and Roswaal uses that moment to punch through Ram and Garf, and they die. Roswaal kills Ram and Garf. That took a lot of time to process. Like, when it happened, I was like staring at the screen like, I must be seeing things. That didn't just happen. There's no way that just happened. That would be silly. But it was very silly, and it very much happened. Yeah, so Roswaal punches through Ram as a like, his, you know, like, Garf is thinking like, okay, Ram's in front, there's no way anything's gonna get me. And then he punches through Ram and Garf, and as Garf is, like, and again, like, the ship is strong. Now, thankfully, y'all told me last week, because I was like, Ryuzu and Garf is a thing? And everyone's like, no, my god, dude, she was kidding. And I was like, oh, thank god. I was very confused. So I that went right over my head. Big, stupid, big, like, smooth brain JoJo. That went right over my head. I thought that she was serious. But yeah, so thankfully the ship is still strong. So Garf being like, Ram! I was like, man, this sounds familiar. Just replace the A with an E. But like, Ram, get up. And I was like, this is heartbreaking. And as he starts to change, like, he does the, like, Roswaal, he starts to shift. And Roswaal, like, kicks his head off. I don't know if he kicks his head off or he caves his head in. But whatever it is, you see the kick and you hear the squish. And it's like, ooh, oh god, Roswaal went off. Like, my man, not only did he do something so despicable as to kill Ram, but he also killed Garf and made Garf, like, weep over the body of Ram. And that screwed me up, because y'all know me. I'm a Ram guy. Like, Ram is my girl. So I was like, oh, God. Like, it was such a, like, I don't know how to feel. My husbando just killed my waifu and my new boy. And I'm all messed up now. I don't know. I need a glass of water. I don't know what's going on. And why am I thirsty? Do with that what you will. I don't know what the hell I just said there. Listen, Roswaal being all beat up, it activates my sadist quirk. I can't help it, okay? But yeah, Roswaal kills them. I'm not gonna get over that. Kills them, and then starts to whoop Subaru's ass. But he doesn't kill Subaru. He just starts to whoop his ass. And I'm like, that's gotta be cathartic. Like, Roswaal just like, you have any idea all the bullshit that I've had to put up with because of you, because I need you? Like, just starts whooping his ass. But it's weird because, like, Roswaal doesn't see them as, like, dead, right? When he kills them, he's like, you don't see them as dead either. Roswaal says to Subaru, like, you see them and you're shocked and you're upset, but you're not grieving because you know they're not dead. And it's like, damn. In fairness, that's, like, kind of a good analysis, not just of Subaru, but probably how most of us feel. Like, that's how I feel when a character dies in this show. I'm like, I'm shocked and I'm upset, but I'm not, like, grieving the loss because I know there's a good to fair chance that Subaru can go back, right? I do feel like, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, I do feel like there is going to be a loop where somebody goes. I don't necessarily know when, I don't necessarily know who, but I have a pretty good feeling like that's gonna happen one day, that we're gonna feel safe, that we can go back, and then we can't go back far enough, you know? Like, I feel like that's gonna happen. That said, it is fair that Roswaal brings up, like, you're not actually grieving them because you know that they're not dead, and I know that they're not dead. Like, I know that they're dead here. This version of them, yes, I killed this version of them, but when you go back, because let's face it, you're gonna go back, they're gonna be fine. So it's not really a big deal. But meanwhile, like, Subaru's like, yes, it is a big deal. Like, just because you know they're coming back doesn't mean you kill them. And Subaru can't even, like, you could see, like, that's on his face, but he can't verbalize it. At least that's what I saw on Subaru's face. Because Subaru's just trying to process everything that's being said. And as Roswaal is whooping his ass, just whoopeth the ass of Subaru, he says to him, like, listen, I need you to help me fulfill my dearest wish. And that's what he's out for. He's out for his dearest wish. And as he says that, he goes, oh, I think our time is up, like he's a therapist, because he can't help but notice, oh, shit, the Great Rabbit's here. That's not good. And you see those little suckers. You see them in the distance with the red eyes, and I'm like, ooh, if you own a rabbit, I'm sorry. If you own a rabbit, I am deeply, deeply sorry. I'm sure your rabbit is lovely. That said, I know somebody who owns 2 rabbits, and listen, I'm sure I've met them, and they're great. I'm never gonna look at a rabbit the same way again. Listen, and I've seen Monty Python. You know, like, I know white rabbits are scary, but they ain't never been more scary than they are here. Higarashi's got, I know Higurashi comes out next season. That show's got some big shoes to fill from ReZero. If they could be as scary as the Great Rabbit, cool, because those things are scary. Cut to me a few weeks from now getting the pants scared off of me by Higurashi. But anyway, yeah, it's a dope ass scene though. It leads to this awesome moment where Roswaal just says, like, listen, Subaru, one day you're gonna be where I am. You're gonna surpass me even. Like, you'll catch up to me. And to do that, you need to get rid of everything else and only keep the thing that is truly, truly the most precious to you, and then you can become like me, right? And he says that to him. Like, he says, like, one day you'll be like me. And I don't know if Subaru was necessarily comforted by that. But I do think, I don't think he necessarily meant it in terms of, like, personality-wise you'll become like him. I think he meant, like, in terms of, like, confidence and power. Like, you'll become like him. Which I'm down for. Like, I'm excited to see Subaru get, like, more and more badass and more steeled in his resolve. Like, I don't necessarily want Subaru to change, right? I don't want him to lose his fun personality, because Subaru does have a fun personality. I don't want that to go away, but neither does, like, Roswaal also has a fun personality. So I feel like you could be badass and strong and still keep it. But it's a dope-ass moment where he says that, and as he says that, all the rabbits are, like, going towards Roswaal because he has the most mana between the two of them, right? Like, he has the most magic. He's, like, the biggest mage in that area. So they all kind of swarm at him, and as he's talking, they, like, jump up and bite him, and he finishes what he was saying, and then he just collapses and gets eaten. And Subaru's like, oh shit, because as they swarm him, like, a bunch of them are already eating Roswaal. So Subaru's like, oh shit, right? And he just, like, you can see them swarm towards him. And this is where we got to talk a little bit about Subaru. I know I said that we were going to talk about Amelia, but the more I think about it, we don't really have the time. So I'm just going to kind of squish Amelia and Subaru into the same little section here. Subaru and Amelia get broken this week. Like, Subaru and Amelia are broken this week. That said, Subaru, when he's broken, looks dope as hell. When Elsa stabs out his eye, he gets this rockin' eye patch, and he looks friggin' awesome. Mind you, it's not like an eye patch that he, like, is given by anybody. He literally, like, tears his sleeve and puts the sleeve over his eye, so you can see, like, the little yellow cuff on the back of his head, so you know that it's the sleeve. You also see it missing, so, like, you can put the pieces together. But yeah, you see, like, the little yellow cuff of, like, where the sleeve is around, like, near the back of his head, which I'll admit was a funny detail. I'm glad they did that. They didn't just, like, hide it or something. But yeah, Subaru, like, and again, sadist, and I'm realizing that about myself. But as such, Subaru beat up. I'm like, nice. You look good, my dude. You look good. What is wrong with me? But yeah, like, yeah, seeing Subaru, like, with the eye patch, he's all screwed up. Not when he goes into the trial room. Like, before he meets up with Roswaal and slightly after the ass kicking he receives. That's what Subaru looks the coolest. When he goes to see, like, Amelia, that's too much. Like, when he's all beaten up, I'm like, whoa, too much. Like when he's all, like, bitten up, I should say. That's too much. When he's beaten up, it's like, that's a good look. But when he's all bitten up, nah. I'm like, no, oh, my boy. Oh, Subaru, you didn't deserve that. But think about that, okay? Like, think about that. Subaru, to get back to Amelia, because that's all he's thinking about in that moment. He's like, I'm gonna die anyway. So in that moment, he had to have run through the Great Rabbit. Through them. He had to run through them to get there. That's insane. Like, don't forget what we saw them do. Don't forget what they can do. He ran through those bitches, all the way back to the trial room, and then died. And he had to die in the lap of crazy-ass Amelia, who, as I said, I don't have as much to say about, but she is broken, dude. Like, however long it was, because, like, we don't necessarily get, like, a time frame. Like, however long it was that he was gone, it screwed her up to the point where she's broken. I don't know if she tried to do the trial and that broke her. I don't know if it's Subaru leaving in general that broke her. She was in the trial room, so I'm kind of inclined to believe that, like, something happened and she broke. But, like, yeah, she, like, just something in her snapped and she had, like, the crazy eyes. And I really, truly mean crazy eyes, like witch eyes, you know, like, not well. And she didn't even, like, she's so loopy and broken, she didn't even notice the fact that Subaru stumbled in with bite marks all over him. Yeah, this episode was, this was a lot. With that said, everybody, I'm going to wrap up my thoughts here. Probably one of my favorite episodes of the season. And this is a season where every episode has been my favorite up until the next week, so I feel like that says a lot. But with that said, everybody, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to boop that up snoot and share if you care. And of course, as always, I have to give a big, big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all of these beautiful names. And hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are now 2 ways to do so. The first is by hitting that Patreon link in the description, and the second is by hitting that join button. Hit the dang join button. Get yourself some nifty badges that you can spam in Premiere chats as well as in the comments, and a badge next to your username when you're on these videos. If you consider doing that, it is super, super appreciated. Thank you very much. But on that note, everybody, I am going to go, I was gonna go get another glass of water, but I think I'm gonna make a tea. I gotta calm down. Like, my nerves are at an 11 after this week's episode. But with that said, until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.